So yes, I mean, they got to make a profit. You know, war is not just intent; war is profit. That's why we have the bankers that are part of the Bilderberg Group and the Bohemian Grove and other societies, Club of Rome and whatnot. This false flag operation is going to evoke a new war on terrorism in Yemen. It's going to happen. We're on the brink. There's major military movement. There are military training camps being set up in Yemen right now by our government that are training the Yemen military to go after the terrorist movement there. It's even been said on the news, and you can find this online, that they're making claims that Al-Qaeda has now built a larger base in Yemen that exists in Afghanistan or Pakistan. Absolute garbage.
Okay. So as far as Yemen and the Gulf of Aden, how do these work together? In other words, what is the countries bordering the Gulf of Aden?
Yes.
So is that why it's being targeted specifically because the Stargate is in the over the water?
Oh yes, absolutely. Yemen is ground zero.
Okay. And let's talk about, if you know this or you have a theory on what's going on with that Stargate. Do you have any idea?
All I can give you now is theory, but I encourage everybody that's going to see this to do your own research. Everything I tell you, do your own research, because if you don't question, you don't research, you're not learning and you're not waking up. Based on my experience with a project that I was a part of, that again we will discuss in my full interview, I have two theories. Okay, one theory is that there are extraterrestrial beings that no doubt are opening, or just now really coming about doing something with the Stargate for a definite purpose. Now, are these extraterrestrials friendly or are they unfriendly? It could be two possibilities. I do not know yet, but I am working on to finding out through some very reliable contacts. If they are indeed friendly, then they have opened it up because we are coming to a time in our world. 2012 is not the end, but I definitely believe that big things are going to be happening, and we do have friendly extraterrestrials that want to see us really become the world we're supposed to be. They're not going to come in and rescue us, but they definitely do things to help assist us move along. Are these the extraterrestrials that decided to open up this Stargate? And if they are, is the military and the global elite going to do everything they can to prevent this from happening so that they can continue their agenda, that the agenda that they have been told they have to accomplish within a certain amount of time, or certain beings are going to step in? That's absolute.
And that's the negative agenda that they are trying to roll out. In other words, that certain negative beings, negatively oriented beings, in other words, service to self, are going to step in if the global elite are unable to handle this themselves. Is that what you're saying?
Absolutely.
Okay, very interesting.
Now, but the other side of it is that is this Stargate do the unfriendly extraterrestrials, are they running the show with this Stargate, and the military is there as really the servants, because that's really what the global elite are. They're not in power, people. They are serving someone else, something else, or whatever you want to classify them as.
Okay. And what you're saying in terms of the Gulf of Aden, are you saying that Stargate could be letting in, perhaps? In other words, it could be incoming, could be outgoing, could be going both ways. Okay, but what the build-up militarily there will be not only to have control over the Stargate on the one hand, but on the other hand, to make sure, like if it was a negative purpose, there could be negative ETs coming through.
Absolutely.
Okay.
But with underwater bases, every single underwater base, there is at least some presence of extraterrestrials there. But I will tell you, none of them are friendly.
Yeah,
none
right.
of them are.
if they're working with the military, I think it's a sort of a no-brainer.
And they're really running the show. But see, they're clever. They're able to calculate and do things in such a way to where the powers that be think that they're have control, but they don't. With this specific underwater base off the coast in the Golfo de Adén, I cannot say for a fact who is absolutely running the show. All I can do is give my theory based on my absolute direct experience with bases, with being in very high up in black projects of Project Talent, knowing of and actually assisting in some projects with Project Stargate, and another project which I will be talking about. And I'll just go ahead and say it now, Project Seagate.
Okay. Do you feel that what's going on in the Gulf of Aden, are you saying it's Aden? Do you know how to pronounce it actually?
I believe it's Aden,
okay.
But I could be saying it wrong. If I am, please excuse me.
Yeah, absolutely. But are you saying what's going on there may be part of an operation which you know of as Project Seagate?
No, I believe, I don't want to speculate because I don't like doing that.
Uh-huh.
It's possible, but every information that's been given to me is labeled it as a Stargate. However, people have to be very careful because from my knowledge and from things that I'm starting to remember, as far as I know, there is only one location for Project Seagate in the entire world. Could I be wrong? Was there information that even I wasn't privy to? It's possible, but I doubt it.
And that's about an underwater base that's located in Puerto Rico area?
Yes, it's in the area of Puerto Rico.
Okay. And that's the one you have recovered memories about?
Yes.
Okay. Have you ever been to the Gulf of Aden?
Not that I recall.
Okay.
If I have, I don't remember, but with all the information, everything that I've shared with you on the many times that we've talked and gotten together, I probably have maybe, if I really sat down and think, I probably have regained maybe 40% of my memories. Why this is happening with me at such a young age, I don't know. Because as you know from your experience with others, usually people are much older. But through some other contexts, I have been told, it's a little hard for me to swallow, but I've been told that there is a very specific reason why I specifically have been regaining these memories. And it's not for a bad purpose, it's for a good purpose. Unfortunately, there are times when I'm still triggered and I'm taken elsewhere to do things, as recently as just a couple months ago, where I have 2 days I cannot account for.
Okay, so we've got a Stargate in Gulf of Aden. We've got false flag operations. We just had one in which, whatever they call the underwear bomber or whatever, in which he was basically let on a plane without a passport. Now, is this part of that operation? Because it seems like it's like the opening act in a certain sense.
It is, because there has been recent information saying that not only him, but the shooter in Fort Hood, now all of a sudden this information is coming out that they both had connections with terrorists, with Al-Qaeda in Yemen.
Okay.
And it's just popped up within the past week, if I remember right. How convenient.
Okay, so we have a major operation happening in Yemen right now. What about, are you, is there any other extenuating circumstance or any involvement? Because you said there's a lot of ships in that area. We've got the water sort of churning under some electromagnetic anomaly going on.
Yes.
What's going on between the powers that be that you know of in terms of the ships? Are you in touch with, for example, any, crew or military personnel in regard to any of that?
Yes, I am.
Okay. Do you want to
talk
about...
They, even the even the Coast Guard, it's not just U.S. Navy. There are U.S. Coast Guard ships, cutters as they're called in the Coast Guard, that are there.